reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 230! We've made it to 230 shows, which is incredibly fitting, seeing as we've got 30 patrons, which is kind of awesome, because I love my patrons. Our patrons. They're fantastic. They're really wonderful people. I love you all, patrons. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris, as always, and I am joined by the ever-so-smart Bill.
The smart Bill? Oh, man, where is he? I'm going to beat him up.
And the ever-so-cool Leonor.
I'm just about to beat 16 pipes on Flappy Bird MMO.
And you just lost, didn't you?
Damn it.
Yep. See, that's you never talk. The number one rule about Flappy MMO is you don't talk about Flappy MMO, because the minute you talk about it, you lose.
Oh, that's
and
the
plus, now you've talked about the game, it's going away. No one will ever be able to play it again. It's going to die.
It's died once already.
Right.
Leonor's going to ultra kill it.
That's what Leonor does. Yep.
It's going to be a fatality. Leonor's going to literally rip the game's head off.
All right, we got quite a light news week here this week, but we do have some stuff to talk about. So let's get going about... I'm excited to talk about what I've done in games, so let's start with Leonor. Leonor, what have you done in games?
Okay. Well, I've been playing Ark, and I am level 65, I think now. Maybe it's 66.
Out of how many levels, by the way?
I think the cap is level 80 or 85, something like that. I think that they are adding more levels in, though. So right now I'm pretty high. And I'm
Whoa. Family-friendly show here, Leonor.
Oh, okay, I'm really low.
Okay. Thank you.
Then I got high. Then I got high. Then I got high.
Oh, gosh. This is, if you're just listening now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time when you say, oh, it's going to be one of those shows.
Uh-huh.
Yes, welcome to the post-PAX hangover, people.
Yeah, and Carrie, I'm sorry for making you laugh so loud on the bus. Right, Leonor, sorry. That was Arcus Interruptus.
Yes. There are huge, gigantic, like eagles, kind of like the Lord of the Ring eagles that are in this game.
Eagles are coming.
And I've tamed a level 99 one and leveled it all the way up to 123 right now. So this thing can just like decimate a brontosaurus in like 6 hits. It's awesome.
You have to understand how absolutely absurd describing Ark is. You know that when you talk about it, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was riding my eagle into the fight. And, you know, it was a brontosaurus that we had to kill.
I killed it.
This eagle just decimated that brontosaurus, man. I just went back with my brontosaurus and I brought my eagle, and it was fun. It was great.
I'll have to take screenshots one of these days because there's a dragon too. I got into Lord of the Rings Online and played some epic battles with a few people. I've been helping out kin because there's a lot of people that in my kinship that don't have the epic battle jewelry yet. So I've been just kind of finding those people and helping them out. And then I started 3 new Let's Plays on my Let's Play channel. which was Doom 3, Darksiders, and Dark Souls. And I am loving Dark Souls. If you guys don't know what Dark Souls is, if you know the game Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or even like some of the more RPG Castlevania games, just imagine that kind of style with 3D gameplay, with it being in third person.
And it's incredibly, insanely hard, right?
It is pretty hard, but so are Castlevania games. If you play the Castlevania games, you fall in the pit, you're dead.
Because I know that's what Dark Souls was, what people who were playing Bloodborne were describing it or comparing it to, was Dark Souls.
Yes, it's the same company.
Oh, okay.
So it's the same thing. It's just in a different world, but it's the same gameplay.
Oh, okay, cool.
So loving that game. Bill, what have you been doing?
Oh, well, for me, I actually have had a fairly light week. I played the Guild Wars 2 beta, and I rolled up my very first Revenant and enjoyed that so much. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be heavy-duty Revenant from day one. I have decided, though, that I am going to skip the entire leveling grind. With all the login rewards and other stuff like that, I can level a Revenant up to 80 probably twice over.
Yeah.
When the expansion comes out. So I as much as I love Guild Wars 2, I'm just not going to do that grind again on day one of the expansion.
I want to compare, how would you describe, when you're comparing to other classes or other things, how would you describe, because I know I've got mine, and I want you to start, though. How would you describe the gameplay of the Revenant?
It's very difficult. Imagine if you could take a melee elementalist in terms of just the style of switching between different game modes and different kind of ability profiles and that kind of thing. It's the flexibility with that with the whole pressure to actually choose your abilities taken away, because it's kind of like the elementalist, except it's reversed. You get to customize your weapon skills based on what weapons you want to wield and that kind of thing, but all of your special abilities, your other abilities, are fixed depending on which soul you're communing with, or whatever soul you're fighting with. So if you're in the Herald soul, for example, you've got a kind of a mix of what do we call them? Like the kind of like charged up effects. It's kind of like what's the
Dots,
Mesmer's ability? Pardon?
Are you thinking like dots? Oh no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like the charged up effects, where you have a long cast spell, but it gives you 2 charges of an ability that you can use instant.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a little. It's very bursty, but anyway, it's very good. There's no ranged ability to it hardly at all. Like
untrue.
It's nothing you can sustain. There are ranged abilities. There are things that can work at range, but a Revenant will never be the one that is standing back even like 700 or 800 units away from the main fight. Like they will be able to situationally remove themselves and still be effective, but they're going to have to get right back into melee soon in order to be effective. Unless they're a support class and healing.
You know what?
Because they are actually not bad at healing.
I went, and this is only PvP, so it's a little bit different. But I'm gonna do my description first, and then talk about the range thing. It feels to me it's got the flexibility of an Ellie, the burstiness of a rogue, but wears heavy. It's like to me, it feels a lot, the way I spec'd it at least, like a heavy wearing rogue. And I was very successful in Stronghold.
I would not go as far as to say the burstiness of a rogue, because I actually did play the new rogue elite specialization.
Daredevil, yeah, I did too. I didn't like it.
Yeah, the Daredevil. Oh, I love the Daredevil.
I didn't like it at all.
It is still burstier than.
Oh, totally, but it feels to me.
Revenant.
It feels like that. Yeah. Why I disagree is hammer weapon with the dwarf hero skill gives you a ton of range stuff. In fact, whenever I was playing Stronghold, and the final push of Stronghold is in to kill the enemy Lord, and there are 2 platforms on either side of where the Lord tends to fight, I would go up one of those platforms, use my hammer at range, because hammer is actually, you throw the hammer, when you have that, and then the 3 and the 5, as well as the 9, to keep sort of other things off of you, were incredibly effective from that upper platform up there. And then if I wanted to get in there, I'd switch to my sword, and then jump in and switch heroes as well to the guy with the Jade Wind 1 ability, and I'd be in there doing DPS with sword. So, and I felt very roguish, very dual-wielding roguish.
I never actually did the hammer, so
okay.
I'll have to check that out.
One skill on hammer is range. You throw it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I'll check that out next time.
Amazingly awesome for PvP.
Yeah.
Super flexible.
I can see that. There's so many get-out-of-jail cards and tricks that not any other classes have that the Revenant can pull off.
Absolutely.
Combos that no other class can do.
Yeah.
Like there's some really befuddling things that, like, I can see people complaining about Revenants in PvP for a long time. Not necessarily because they're overpowered, even though they might be, depending on how you look at it, but just because they're so different from anything the metagame has done before.
Yeah.
So
anyways, keep going. Sorry, I just wanted to get into some Guild Wars 2 talk.
So that was the Guild Wars 2 beta. I did start the kind of the beginning story thread that they had for the Jungles of Maguma, and I decided I didn't want to do that. I'm not going to spoil that for release. So I'm waiting patiently for October 23rd to roll around, and that's going to be my exposure to the storyline. I also played, and this is I stepped out into the real world and didn't play any online games after that. I know, it was weird. I played the copy of Sentinels of the Multiverse that I bought while I was at PAX. So fun. I got my wife and my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and we all sat down for a game of that. I'd played before, they had not, and everybody picked it up really quick, and it wound up being a lot of fun. It was a completely co-op game, so there wasn't the usual kind of sniping or getting or building up sides or getting kingmakers and king wreckers and that kind of thing. It was fun, and it was challenging enough. As a co-op game, it was still challenging. Like the enemy was absolutely the bad guy deck in Sentinels of the Multiverse. So for those of you that don't know, after I finished gushing there, basically it's a card-based game, co-op game where you play heroes. Everybody has a hero deck that has different abilities. The heroes are remarkably similar to Marvel and DC type heroes, even though it is original content universe. And you just play abilities from your deck to try to defeat this villain deck that is infinitely more powerful than any one hero. But when you combine the heroes together, it winds up being a decent challenge. So lots of fun. Chris, you and I are going to be playing it when we next gather for gaming stuff. And if you're looking for a card game, actually what they suggested to me at PAX when I was shopping for it was that it's actually a decent game that you can even play with just two people, because you get two people controlling two different heroes, and the game still works quite well. Technically, you can play with just two heroes, but the difficulty ramps up quite a bit. Yeah, having that, the sweet spot is like 3 or 4 heroes, from my experience. But anyway, if you're looking for a good game that you can sit down with a small number of people, really quick to pick up, popular, well established. There's lots of expansions and stuff for it. Sentinels of the Multiverse, very good.
Awesome, that's fantastic.
And the other game I played this week, this is again with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my wife. We picked up a Android game. I believe it's got to be on. Yeah, it is on iOS as well. It's called Space Team. Leonor, I know Chris hasn't played Space Team before, but have you ever played Space Team, Leonor?
No, I have not.
Okay, so basically this is to kind of start it off, it's basically a team building exercise. It's the kind of thing that you'd take a break from work and you'd be stepping away into a retreat somewhere and you'd play this game. So what you get is everybody loads this game up onto their phone, and you get kind of a little manufactured console, so with dials and buttons and everything like that. And the gameplay itself is you're coordinating to drive a spaceship through various space events, and your team is trying to work this ship. And stuff pops up on different things pop up onto everybody's console, like to soak the Ferris holospectrum or to go buy groceries or any number of things that you actually have to yell out to the rest of your team, because the things that pop up on your screen aren't necessarily the ones that you have buttons for. So you have to communicate with everybody else to execute these ship driving commands, and you have to dodge asteroids, and you have to repair your console panel when it gets damaged when you get hit by an asteroid. And it was just amazing fun. We were killing ourselves laughing at it.
That's
so
cool.
good. So
Yeah.
anyway, again,
Sounds
if you're
very interesting.
it's little party game and that kind of thing. It's good. Definitely check it out. If you've
Weird
got
trailer. I showed the trailer in the a weird trailer.
It is. It's a weird game, but so fun.
Cool. Awesome.
So, how about yourself, Chris? Did you have any weird fun this week?
You know what? I was busy. I spent all of last weekend editing our Sword Coast Legend content, which I'm super happy with. The panel turned out great. Really happy with the gameplay video that turned out pretty well also, and then the interview with Jay. I mean, listening to it again, it's really hard when you're doing an interview. Sometimes you get that feeling that everything clicked, and I did get that when we were doing the interview, but listening to it again, I mean, there's tons of information in there that I was getting the wrap up signal like the whole time. We were like 30 seconds into the interview, and it's like, okay, time to move on. And so, I felt rushed through the whole thing. I wanted to talk so much longer to Jay, but, got some great information about future DLCs, about tying in the storyline, a little bit about the story itself, because so much of the content so far has been about the DM mode that people are forgetting there's an actual full-on game here that's not, that's not the DM mode. So really excited for that. And really excited to start looking at some of the streams that are kind of going to come out this weekend, because it is the first preview weekend this weekend. So not head start, but early access weekend. So, which unfortunately we won't be able to be in. They're not letting press into this one, unfortunately. But it's really, I'm going to look forward to watching all of that. I'm going to skip the story ones, though. I don't know about anybody else, but that's me. I also played some Pathfinder Adventure card game, and we played a bunch at PAX, and I got the bug again, and I've been playing some solo, but I did it with 4 heroes, and I have to tell you, it's quite stressful's the wrong word, because I had a blast, but it's draining running a solo game with 4 heroes, because I'm controlling all 4 heroes as I'm going through the game. I played through an entire adventure, but I'm working my way through an actual adventure on it, which is a whole bunch of different scenarios. So I played through a whole scenario. Whew, it was fun. Absolutely fantastic. Cool. Cannot wait for the digital version, which is going to make all that sort of stuff a little bit easier. Went with Element of Evil launched on Xbox. I went and made my Oathbound Paladin, which I've been waiting for. I actually found after PAX I got to play the Oathbound Paladin at the demo station that they had, the room that they had for Neverwinter, and I didn't want to go back and play my Hunter Ranger. I wanted to play, it's one of those things where something's coming, and I didn't want to bother. I know I'm not going to play my Hunter Ranger anymore. I'm going to play my Oathbound Paladin. That's it. So why bother playing the other character, right? Just felt like a waste of time. And then the WildStar PTR I jumped on very, very shortly. But I think the what I spent the most time on while I was waiting for videos to render was ESO on the Xbox. I went back to that, and I had a whole weekend with Selenia was away, and one of my kids was with her. And so I had a lot of time in the evenings while videos were rendering to do other stuff. So I went on ESO on the Xbox, had some fun. I think I need to give it some more time. But probably the most disappointing experience was I went into Cyrodiil. I went into the 3-realm combat. And holy cow, it's crappy on Xbox. I'm sorry for all you Xbox fans. The game itself feels no different when you're doing PvE, but the draw distance was horrible. The lag was craptastic. I got kicked whenever we were attacking a keep, and I would get around a whole bunch of people. Boom, I was kicked from the server, and I'd have to get back in. Probably, and I was being stubborn because I was enjoying the actions that we were doing, but the experience sucked. If that makes sense. Like what we were doing was fun. What I had to do to get to that, like the technical sides was game breaking to me. Amount of characters on screen at a time was an issue. Draw distance, lag. It was really, really horrible. Like really.
Was there
horrible.
a lot of characters on the screen, or was
Yeah,
it just like a set amount of characters or players, I should say?
It would start to lag after more than maybe like okay. Let me step back a little bit. On PC, it's really the large scale PvP and ESO is Zerg based. It's like ESO or like Guild Wars 2, where you go from keep to keep with your big Zerg because there's really nothing you can do alone. The new patch changed that, but we're not going to get that far yet. It was Zerg. So you follow your train of horses going from one place to the other, your mounts, right? Going around. And I could only maybe see 6 or 7. If it would get further than just a couple of horse lengths away, it wouldn't bother drawing them. Although I knew there were tons more people around. And then I'd get up to the keep, and then I'd see all the people. It was just... And then the animations, it would simplify the animations because of the lag. And it was like the horses were just miniatures being dragged along the landscape. Like, really, really horrible. So I don't know if it was a one-off experience or if that's always what it's like. But I got to go back in to check it out, because if it is, oh, man, I feel bad for those Xbox people who are trying to make this a worthwhile PvP experience. It's the first time I've ever felt on a console, and I've always played PC as my main gaming experience. But this is the first time I've ever had both sort of new consoles in their early life cycle, when they're supposed to be at their most powerful compared to the PC, right? Mm-hmm. And in 3 games, Neverwinter, and they're all MMOs, Neverwinter, Elite, and Xbox, I felt like the hardware has let me down. Never had that before. Not in Titanfall, which also has a lot going on the screen, right? All sorts of other games I've played that have had many other players that haven't had the same issue. So...
Well, hold on. While you were editing, were you uploading?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't taking any of my bandwidth.
Because that would affect it.
I got a big fat pipe, too. I was not, but I've got 20 up. I've got 100 down and 20 up at home, right? So... That shouldn't be an issue without I wasn't uploading, but so that wouldn't be it. Anyways, I was sad. I was disappointed. It made me unhappy. All right. With all those wonderful comments about it, let's move on. Want to mention quickly our wonderful 30 patrons. Yay, we hit our goal. You are all fantastic people. I love you all. And we can't wait to get all those patron rewards out to you and follow you on Twitter and all that sort of stuff. You are all fantastic people. Thank you ever so much. For those of you who are wondering, we usually record on Thursday nights at about 10 p.m. Pacific time, which is about 7 a.m. if you're in the Netherlands, in case you were wondering, which is why we record at that time, because Harry is able to get up by that time. We don't want to make him get up in the middle of the night to go earlier. And it's the middle of the night for Leonor, so we're all over the place here as far as time goes, just to make this show happen for you. You can come check it out. And also, don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. We love to see what you think of the show. On that note, let's move things along to the news.
These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end. Don't forget about your ults, you need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults.
All right, we are going to chat a little bit about the Primalist for Rift. Now, we've discussed this new calling before, but they finally released the web page that goes over all of the information for the Primalist.
It's 4.5 years.
You don't need to hear Simon talking there as we go. We did get a chance to talk with Tryon at PAX, and if you're watching the YouTube video or the live stream, you can see the video playing now with the Primalist in action. This is a It feels very mage-ish, but it wields two-handed weapons, and it uses leather armor. So this is going to be competing with warriors for weapons, and with rogues for leather armor. And they do use dex as a main stat. So that's really going to be competing, which unfortunately means that rogues and primalists are going to be the only callings that have to fight for armor, because nobody else fights for armor.
Yeah.
Because everybody else looks for different stats, which is too bad.
Obviously, rogues are going to be. It's going to be primalists and rogues that are fighting. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This, like all of the new revamped callings, it does have tank, healing, and DPS souls, and we'll have a list on the show notes for those of you who want to look through all of the souls. But the Titan is okay. Let me take a step back here because I need to explain the class a little bit better. This is for anybody who's played Lotro. This is a very similar class to the Runekeeper. It has a bar in the middle that has on one side Fury and on the other side Cunning. So red is Fury, blue is Cunning for those of you watching the video. Some abilities push you in one direction. Other abilities require you to be in one certain side, either middle, Cunning, or Fury. And others push you in the opposite direction, right? So each of the different souls requires you to be in a certain part of that particular bar. So, for example, Titans need to be in Fury, and Vulcanists need to be in Cunning. Titan is the tank. Vulcanist is one of the DPS ones. It looks very much like a Pyromancer for mages. But I think this new calling is for Rift is actually a really good example of how they did so well with the original callings and the souls that they had for those, because it feels a lot like all of the other souls. And I haven't played it yet, so I'm not going to make a final judgment. I can't wait to get in there and try it, but it feels like all of the other souls, which is a testament to the great design, but takes away from some of the, oh, look, new shiny, because it doesn't totally feel like it's doing a whole bunch new, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think? Bill, I know you played more Rift than Leonor did. Are you interested in this at all? Is this something that's going to draw you back into Rift? Or if you do go into Rift, would you want to try this calling?
Oh, I would absolutely want to try the calling. The Rift is always floating around my peripheral. Like, I've always got it installed. I launch it every once in a while to do updates and that, but it slips off to the side for me. I would like to try it again. The other thing is, I've been out of Rift so long, I feel like it's going to be a big effort to get back up. Like, I'm an expansion behind and a ton of updates and probably a good, year and a half to 2 years away from any kind of rating or anything like that, much less just regular play or anything. So that to me is the barrier. Like, you obviously hop into Rift from time to time.
Yep.
Is it a big leap? Like, if somebody, would it be hard for somebody to just pop back in after a couple of years and see how it's going?
It'd be hard to get to the new content because the new content is at the higher levels. But if you decide to buy the pack, I think the pack for this is going to be $20. I saw. Let me look here I can switch over to our screen here. You can get this calling with the wild pack. Oh, I'm sorry, no, $100. Which gets you a mount, the calling, patron status for a month, a cloak, and a portrait frame. Plus content delivered with the launch of Rifts into the Wild, which is undescribed in this. So you can see it here. I'm showing it to the live chat room. $100 is a lot.
I was going to say that's
a lot.
That's not a
wow.
Pop back in and see how it's going price point.
No,
that's I'm committed for the next year kind of price point.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna have the calling available for I think it was about 5,000 of the currency that they've got in the game. But where is it here? Sorry, you guys talk about... 5,250 credits.
Mhm.
So I'm just looking up here to see how much, if I can figure out how much credits are. You guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute while I figure
Okay,
out how much
Bill.
credits
Bill,
are.
are you looking at the website?
I'm guessing that 5,000 credits is about $50 if I were to take a wild stab. But I'm not on the Rift website right now. Should I be, Leonor?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, well, thank you for the suggestion anyway. I appreciate it.
I was just going to point out that the fourth picture down, there is this ugly, ugly looking woman.
Oh.
That's it.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, you said to talk.
Wow. Yeah, it's about $30 to buy
Okay.
just for a calling. $30 for a calling for a new class.
I think I feel like we're old, Chris, and that because we have this conversation a lot saying, I can't believe how much this costs. This is crazy. I really feel like we are our parents and grandparents saying, back when I was a boy, you could buy a loaf of bread for 25 cents. That's almost right. Like I can't tell if the gaming industry is getting ridiculous with its pricing or if we're just old.
Okay, we need to hear from our listeners here on this, because and here, you all know I have a soft spot for Rift. I have a soft spot for Tryon Worlds. I think they're a really great company, and I really, really like Rift. I think that's pretty clear that I have that soft spot there. $30 for a calling for a new class, basically. That's freaking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It seems like a price you put in to encourage people to buy a different package.
$100 package.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know there's more there, and there's some value to that package. I'm not saying the $100 package is absolutely useless. I do think it's a little pricey, but I don't think it's like, oh, look, you get this little toothpick. Pay me $100, please.
So let's think about this, though.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, because we talk about Guild Wars 2. I think everybody's on board that they're going to buy Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2 kicks off at $50 for the expansion to that.
Yeah.
But that's just the expansion and everything to do with the expansion, including the new guild arenas, the new PvE areas, the new class, and that kind of thing. So for $50, you get the Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns, and for $100, you can buy the Wilds pack for Rift, which gives you
$100 for Into the Wild.
Yeah. So what does that give you more than the $50 for Heart of Thorns? Just to try to compare apples to apples here.
A couple of costume items, and patron status, which is like VIP sort of stuff, which they don't have for Guild Wars 2.
But that's essentially like in-game currency, so you could talk about it almost as an analog to gems in Guild Wars.
No, patron status is not in-game currency. Patron status is bonuses to make your experience better in-game, like leveling, extra currency, bonus experience here. I'm showing it right now. Extra currency, bonus experience, patron summons, bonus tokens, mounted command, favor and prestige. You just basically get everything times 1.5. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, no, well, again, comparing it's really hard to compare apples to apples. I think we would have needed to sit down before this and really look at it side by side. That said, $100, just like I said right off, $100 is not what I pay to pop back into a game and see if I like it.
Okay, so here let's compare the last sort of semi-expansion thing that they did, which was way bigger than this, Nightmare Tide. You could get so for this one, for the Wilds pack, you get the new calling, which is big. It's a big deal. New primal war, so you get basically 6 souls. New primal war beast mount, the ceremonial garb, a cloak, a portrait frame, 30 days of patron status. For Nightmare Tide, for $50, half the price, you would get 2 new equipment slots, a bag slot, a title, a couple of titles, an instant level 60 character thing, for $50 here. More bank slots, a dimension stuff, a companion, a minion, a portrait thing, a pet, some leveling accelerators, and another cosmetic thing, as well as that was it.
Now, was that the price when it was new, though, too? Or is that the reduced price?
Nope, the prices haven't changed. For $150, you get all that stuff, plus another mount, a bag, some more dimension stuff, some more dies, cosmetic weapons, a new title, another calling ability, another pet. I mean, I don't know.
So what you're saying is for the low price of $150, I could get caught up with the Nightmare Tide expansion, the Wilds pack.
Nope. For $250, you could get Nightmare Tide and Wild Pack.
No, I wasn't talking about the Ultimate Nightmare Edition. I was talking about just the Infusion Edition.
Yeah. Okay,
no,
our listeners, you need to tell us if we're crazy, because I really feel strongly about this. Like, I don't know if I'm going crazy or I'm just tired, lack of still, first week back at work and post packs and all that stuff. But this really feels crazy, like the costing of this.
Does it give you a premium account, like the subscription?
30 days of patron status, just for 30 days.
That's it? That should be a year.
You could buy a year for $99. You wouldn't get the calling or anything like that. But 1 year of... they don't do... Oh, no, they do 1 month. $119 for 1 year of patron status. So you could get a year and 10 months, or a year and a month of patron status, and the warm-up for the low price of $218.
See, and I hate to go back to Guild Wars 2 over and over again.
But you're going to.
I'm going to. This is confusing the hell out of me. With Guild Wars 2, there's like one thing you can buy. You can buy Heart of Thorns, and that's it. That's what you buy. If you want to play Guild Wars 2, you either download it and you play it for free, or if you like it and you want more, you buy Heart of Thorns, and then you're done. That's it. That is so easy. I get that. But getting into all these different bundles on the Rift page here, looking at it, and I mean, I'm going to throw Star Citizen under the bus for this as well too, because they're even worse. I hate that. That scares me away from the game to the point that I just don't even want to think about it. Mm-hmm. Give me a thing to buy at even it doesn't even have to be cheap, as long as it's like at least a moderate price, but it's just one thing. I can figure that out. I get that. You could say, you could even go outside the realm of that. That's what Apple does. Apple gives you a thing that you can buy, not 1,500 permutations with different varying bonus levels and that kind of thing. Oh, you want an iPad? Here. Buy it. Yeah. Done. And people like that.
For the low price of $1,000 for the new iPad Pro.
You know what? And they have one SKU for that. Have an iPad Pro. Done.
Well, no.
People will buy that because...
There's 64 gigs. There's 128 gigs.
And that's it. That's the one scale that differentiates it. You don't have to worry about different processors or screen sizes or versions or the difference, whether it includes a pen or not, or whether you get the bundle with the keyboard included or anything. No, you just buy the thing. That's it. Done.
Well, because
the game, MMOs, online games, games in general really need to try to come back to that somehow, because I really feel like they're trying to their pricing models are getting to the point where they're trying to charge people through obfuscation. That if people have a hard time figuring out what to buy, they'll just accidentally spend money. Oops. Yeah. There was $200 that I just blew. I didn't even realize. Which just seems disingenuous. I don't know. I have respect for the companies that'll just come out and say, "Here, buy this thing." Okay, we're done. I'll talk to you again when I have a new thing.
Yeah, and I totally didn't mean for this discussion to go this way. I misread it. I thought the Wilds pack was like $20. I'm like, wow, that's a great deal. That's fantastic. Everybody should jump on that. And I can't say the same thing for $100.
No.
I can't say the same thing for $30 for just the freaking soul.
No.
Right? I wouldn't. I wouldn't pay that. I can't see. Now, if it was a spider mount, then
Well, that's easily worth $5,000.
you got to
without
throw
even
in this.
blinking.
If they had a spider mount on this, that becomes a whole different discussion, and it sends me to other places.
$800 a leg, or $500 a leg.
Oh, jeez. Chris would buy it.
Yep.
Probably.
He'd buy 2.
Yep.
Anyway,
all right. Let's get
before
let's move
we
things
get too
along.
cranky here. Let's move on.
This is not cranky geeks here.
Yeah. Well, actually, literally.
I was actually happy about the game in the beginning of that conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is kind of neat. I'm looking at the pictures and like, oh, $30.
Now
Ooh.
you're like, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, top story, yeah. Well, I'm
move
not
us
even
along,
in the right
Leonor.
mood for this next story.
Get us out of here, Leonhort.
Yeah.
Save us.
There is a game that was in development for about 3 or 4 years now, and it has come out on Steam, and it's called Otherland. I'll kind of explain what it is real quick. If anybody's played Secret World, or if you haven't played Secret World, basically there are a bunch of worlds that are connected by a center tree that you can go into, and they're all just different worlds. Like there's Transylvania, and there's ancient Egypt, and places like that. This game puts you into a virtual reality world, and you're able to go to fantasy England setting. You can go to a cyberpunk sci-fi setting, and there's all kinds of different settings that you can go to. And it is an MMO. I didn't even say that, and it's buy to play. It's on Steam, and it's going for $20 right now, but it's on sale right now at, I think, $15. And it is looking pretty cool. What else? I was kind of wondering what was in the game, and it has pretty much the standard MMO stuff. It's got crafting in it. It has different classes, and it's kind of like a MOBA style, like the newer MOBA styles, like Gigantic. Mm-hmm. Where you can move, you use the WASD keys to move around, and you use your mouse to aim. And it just looked really neat. And this was apparently underneath the radar for quite a while. So what do you guys think about this?
Well, before we get too much further, it is based on Tad Williams' novels. In case anybody is a fan of those ones, Otherland. So, yeah. I you know what? It looks really, really interesting. I don't know. I never fell in love with the Secret World, and I get that vibe right away. Mm-hmm. It feels very much like the Secret World. And who knows? This may be the Secret World done right. I don't know. You like the Secret World, so that was a little harsh. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the Secret World was not done wrong.
Well.
It was just done.
All right, Bill, what do you think?
I'm gonna look into this. That's it. It seems cool. It's the wildly different landscapes and that kind of thing are appealing. It's yeah. I don't know. I've never actually read the Otherland series by Tad Williams. I've seen them many times, and I've put my hands on it, thinking, do I want to get this one, or oh hey, look at this, it's a new series by George R. R. Martin. Maybe I'll pick that up instead. Oh yeah, okay, well that moved.
I think it's a cool idea to have MMO that takes you, it makes you feel kind of like you're going into different MMOs with your same character.
Well, and can you bring like your equipment from a future sci-fi one to a fantasy one? Like, can you totally cross genres like that, or are you bound by the rule set of whatever area you're in?
That I'm not exactly sure yet, but I think your gear all changes to fit that style that you're in, the art style that you're in.
Okay.
So let's think about this for a second here. So if this is based off of a novel IP that was been around, I see I've just quickly Wikipedia'd that, and the first book in that series came out in 1996. How many other MMOs, with the exception of Lord of the Rings Online, obviously, are based off of novels, where the world space or the IP is based off of a novel? I'm having a hard time thinking of any.
Let's see, Lord of the Rings Online. I think that game Blade and Soul.
No, it's not based on specific wuxia stories. It's just in that style.
Okay.
You know what? I recall hearing things about them, but I don't think there's been any successful that went on long enough to remember them. Mm-hmm. But I remember a few other. Just it's picking at the back of my brain.
Listeners out there, if there's something that should be just jumping out at me that I'm missing, let us know. Like if you know of online game properties that are based off of novels out there that we're missing, I want to hear about it. Send us a message. Send us an email, mmo.reporter@gmail.com.
We want a lot of emails this week.
I would kill for a Dune MMO.
Dune? Oh, that would be too grand. I don't know if they could ever do it right.
Oh, I would love that.
If they can do Star Wars, they can do Dune.
Yeah. I want to chew on spice all day.
Yeah, but let me know when they do Star Wars right.
It's not wrong. It's just not perfect. Okay, how about I let you know when they do a Star Wars movie right?
They've done 3. 3.5 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
there's the Christmas special.
I'm just saying it's not an easy thing to do.
No, I agree. All right, we're starting to repeat ourselves here, so let's move things along. If you want to go check it out, we'll have a link in the show notes to the Steam page. A couple of great coupon codes for you if you're interested in some great deals. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter and you can get a free month of the Audible service, which means you will get a free audiobook. You should go check that out because our friends at Audible are pretty awesome and I love their audiobooks. They have some really great authors that read their books, and you can read them too while you're doing whatever you want to do. And our friends over at Doghouse Systems, doghousesystems.com. Use the coupon code MMO Reporter for a free 120 gigabyte SSD with your purchase of your computer. So go check them out and get a new solid state drive with your new computer. Let's move things along to the next segment. Mistake a troll for a wagon in skirmish runs. Pull that boss when your healer yells out of mana. Pull that world boss out of party. Run through trash, you'll be sorry. Take a bio break without announcing. They may not rhyme, but they're quite possibly the dumbest ways to die. All right, Bill, take us away.
Yeah, we're just going to do a few quick mentions here. I wanted to mention that Guild Wars 2 is running a special event right now called Mordrum Guard. It's similar to some of the other Mordremoth events that were happening in the Living Story last season, where we're getting invasion types of events in old world zones. So Diesa Plateau and that's the only one I remember off the top of my head. But definitely check it out. It's a good chance to load up on a little bit of extra loot and armor skins and that kind of thing as you're preparing for the expansion launch. It gives you a little bit of a story primer and lets you get in the mood with fighting the plant creatures of Mordremoth. I've got a link in the show notes here for the event guide from Delphi. It's a bit spoilery, so if you wanted to just experience, don't go there. But if you want to see how to basically how the events all work and the timing for it and what you need to do to get, or what buffs and what loot you need to get in order to pull the rewards and everything like that, check it out. But I'm excited to pop in. I I wish I could say that my first choice was going to be recording the podcast tonight, because I kind of wish I was doing this instead right now. But you guys are really good second place. I hope that's okay.
So
silver medal is still good, right?
I've got a problem, Bill.
Yes.
How come the Mordrum Guard get mounts, but we don't?
Ooh, sore spot in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, poking that a little bit.
Yeah, maybe if you give ArenaNet $100, they'll give you a mount.
A spider mount? Seriously, spider mount? Oh,
we should mention it. We'll send them a tweet.
All right, and then wanted to mention a couple quick things here coming out of NCSoft. That Blade and Soul is going to be going into beta on October 30th.
Fancy.
And it's going to launch in 2016. We've got a video for that and for the next story here for WildStar coming soon. It's just our editing queue. We're trying to get through all our videos, but there's so many this year, which is awesome. We're so happy, but it's a lot of freaking work. So those will be coming out soon. WildStar, free-to-play launch, September 29th. Yay! I am jumping in there, baby. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so I've got a question for you guys. So Dragon Dogma launched in Japan, and it has had 1 million downloads, which is huge, right? Huge amount of downloads. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're happy with that. Okay, 1 million downloads of the game, but how come there's only been 370,000 characters created?
That's
Anybody else getting that number a little funky?
That does, yeah. There seems to be some shenanigans there. I don't really get that.
So are they counting individual files? Like, is the game 3 files and 370,000 people have downloaded it? And
is there a benefit to playing one character on 3 machines simultaneously?
Or maybe the intro cinematic is really, really bad.
Or really, really awesome.
And they just watch it over and over again and never play the game?
Exactly, yeah.
You know what?
Hey, it's like the Old Republic.
I know, I'm such a sucker for cinematics. I got to see, I will tease here a little bit. I got to see the free-to-play final cinematic at PAX for WildStar. Mm-hmm. Holy crap, it's amazing. Amazeballs. It's amazing. So can't wait to
say amazeballs out loud. Did you?
It's that good.
You should feel terrible.
I did bad and I feel bad.
Good.
All right. Bill, why don't you talk about this last one?
And then just the final one here, just a quick note that because we talked about it and we did an interview with these folks at PAX. Eco has completed its Kickstarter. They raised over $200,000 on Kickstarter and reached the player character justice system stretch goal. So we've actually got a link to the how the player justice system is going to be working. It's posted up on the Eco website. It's actually pretty cool. Basically, each Eco server is going to be able to set its own rules. That say you're allowed to. Sometimes you're going to be allowed to break into people's houses. Other times you're not. Sometimes you're going to be allowed to shoot wildlife. Sometimes you're not. And if you commit any crimes that the server has agreed to set as a rule or a law, then you get flagged as a criminal. And this system is not only going to be a kind of a criminal justice system, but it's also going to be a PvP system. The only PvP you can do is to attack criminals, and presumably for criminals to defend themselves. But that's how the system's going to work. So it could be. I don't know. What do you think? Like, what do you guys think of how that kind of justice system would work?
I think that's really interesting. The idea that the server can set the rules by which that happens, and then the PvP is only for rounding up those stinking criminals, right?
Well, I think that it's interesting that there's some democracy to it too. Like, it's not just the server admin that says this is the law, deal with it.
Yeah.
It kind of implies that there's some kind of, again, there's some democracy or voting to say this is what we agree. This is what we agree to play to. These are how we're going to run the server. So, and they mentioned there's different penalties in there. Everything ranging from either monetary fines to jail time. You can actually lock a character away into a jail part of the world, or a death penalty. And they kind of say the death penalty is the character is deleted and the user is banned from logging into that server forever. So
wow.
An actual death penalty. So it's an interesting thing. I could see it going completely off the rails and being really bad for certain servers, but overall I think it's actually a really neat platform for how the game is going to run. So the other thing too, it just the massively article that reported on the Kickstarter thing also posted a couple of questions that they had for the designers on kind of the pricing for the game for education. Like they're going to have special school pricing for this game with the notion that it's going to be kind of a learning tool. For those of you that don't remember, Eco is basically an MMO that is it's about developing a balanced ecosystem, that you have to advance a world. You've got a 30-day time window to advance a world in a balanced way. So you need to make progress, but you need to do it in a way without consuming world resources. And essentially, it's got a heavy environmental message to it. But the notion is that it's could be a learning tool that kids could actually play this. And I'm thinking, oh geez, do we have is this what the next generation's Oregon Trail is, or
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So this is one I'm curious about. It's almost an academic curiosity more than do I want to play this game or not. I'm more interested in how they actually make this game into something interesting and functional. So it's almost like, I don't want to play the game so much as I just want to hear about how it's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I want the Coles notes on the game, basically.
All right, we're going to move things along, end things off. It's running to be a little bit of a long show. So, Bill, why don't you let people know how they can contact us if they want to send us the multitude of emails and contacts that we asked for this week?
Yeah, please let us know. Let us know about the book properties and the book IPs that have been turned into online games. So,
what you think about Rift.
And what you think about Rift, yeah. If you can afford it, because even thinking about it seems to be pretty expensive. You can visit us over at MMOreporter.com for the central hub of everything MMO Reporter. You can send us emails, mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can visit us on Facebook, facebook.com/MMO Reporter. You can tweet at any of the MMO reporters, either at MMO_reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, at Leonor for Leonor, or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call, leave us a voicemail, tell us what you think about game pricing these days. 616-666-6778. Or you can check out our YouTube channel for all of our new PAX videos, our gallons and gallons of PAX videos, youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/MMO Reporter, to help us join some of the most amazing people on the internet and help us keep the lights on here at MMO Reporter. And if you're looking for other ways to support us, you can go to MMOReporter.com/support for any other fundraising initiatives and general money grabbiness at being put on by the MMO Reporter Network there. MMOReporter.com/support.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bill. Thanks to both of you for recording, Leonor. It was always incredibly tolerable to record with you tonight.
I have something really, really important to say.
Okay.
Pre-purchase on Steam.
Yeah.
XCOM 2 just started.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my.
Oh, well, sorry. Hold on.
Time to go.
Oh, this is one of those existential issues where I hate pre-purchasing, but I love XCOM.
And you know what? I wonder how many people's birthday for Steam are on January 1st. Just saying. Just saying. And then some random year. Not that I would ever do that. Ever.
No, that's wrong.
That's wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Because they're trying to capture accurate market data. That would be just shameful.
No, it's totally to keep it away from the children, Phil. Won't somebody think of the children?
Oh.
I always put April 1st.
Ha. I always put January 1st and then whatever my scroll wheel happens. No, I'm sorry. I always consider doing that before I put in my true and honest date of birth into Steam. Anyways, Bill, also fun to record with you as always.
I absolutely survived recording this show.
Yes, you did. Barely, though. Thanks to everyone who came and hung out in the chat room. Not lots of chatting, but lots of people in there. So thank you very much for coming out to hang out with us live. Thanks to everyone who watches on YouTube or downloads the podcast. We hope that you enjoyed this week's show. And we, of course, hope that you come back for next week's show. But most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.